I tell you a story. What you believe. Let me bring you true life stories. Let them tell your stories. You listen. Hanging out with Mr. Dandy.
Hello everybody, my name still remains Mr. Dandy Omebere Osaboyan. On your show, our show, Hanging Out with Mr. Dandy, we are going to have an amazing time tonight. This show is going to be interesting, innovating, inspiring, and we'll be right back. I have an amazing guest for me tonight. This person is a resource person. He's a Google digital skill trainer. And he's an SME development consultant. This person is highly resourceful. We are going to have an interesting time talking and listening to him. He's so inspiring. The first day I get to hear him speak, I was blown out of my mind. Let's welcome Mr. Emeka.
Thank you very much.
We would like to know you, Mr. Emeka.
Okay, my name is Emeka Odibili. Normally, if I write my name, I put beside it FIMC CMC, which means that I'm a fellow Institute of Management Consultant and I'm a certified management consultant. Beyond that, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a leadership developer, which makes me walk into various spheres of life. Developing leadership has always been something I've drawn myself to right from when I was in school, and today it has pushed me to a point where I can boldly say I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker, I'm a life coach, etc. So like he has said, everything he said about me is who I am, and I currently am available to help everyone who needs my help as it relates to ideas, concepts, startups, and anything you want to launch as a project.
Mr. Emeka, how far has this journey taken you? How far? How did you get to this point? Where did it all start?
It started when I was in secondary school. Initially, I used to be a laid-back child who was scared of the public lights.
Wow.
So I knew so much inside of me, but I was not just confident enough to be able to express.
So you were a shy person.
Yeah, very.
Because I look at
I was even beyond shy. I was shy and reserved to
because I look at your first degree is microbiology.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. How come?
Microbiology, yes. I was being tailored to study medicine. And in secondary school, I was one of the best in biology, but I always wanted to be an architect because I was born an artist. I can draw with anything from sand to charcoal to pencil. Art is a very good part of me that I don't need a teacher to bring out. But my mother wanted to have a doctor. The environment around me wanted a doctor. My teachers wanted me to read medicine. So I was even forced to drop fine arts in SS2 so that I could focus on medicine. And when I didn't get medicine, I fell into microbiology. And that was where the journey evolved.
So how did the journey start? How did you get to become this TED speaker? How did you get to become this consultant? How did it start? Coming from the background of science.
I didn't plan to be a consultant. That's a clear point. While I was trying to blend into the microbiology, initially I didn't want to do well because they told me if I had 4 points in my first year that I would switch to medicine. So I made up my mind I was not going to get 4 points. And as I was trying to fail, I still got above 3.5.
As you are trying to fail.
Yeah, I still got above 3.5, but it wasn't good enough for me to switch. And when within that period, they were bringing architecture into my school, Unizik or CAR, and I wanted to switch from microbiology to architecture and drop a year. My parents didn't permit because they didn't sign the consent form. I tried getting admission abroad. I got admissions with scholarships to study architecture, but I didn't get parental backing, so the dream died. But while it died, I still found myself in environments that still wanted me to keep it. So I was working with architectural students, teaching them freehand drawing. I was doing artworks in my hostel. I was making banners, doing freehand cards, just to keep that art part alive. And at a point, even school suffered because I was not always in class, because I preferred this other one gave me excitement and fulfillment more than the other one. But what I found out what it was doing to me was that it was making me become more industrious. It was making me learn to manage money more. It was then making me learn to become a capitalist, create new opportunities to make more. It was making me see that school was beyond being in class and getting an A or a B or a C or a carryover. It was making me begin to see that school was about the people I was mixing up with and the opportunities they were opening me up to. So I just found that I just wanted to learn everything because I was not satisfied with what I was learning in school. So if I get here today and there's an Oracle magazine, I want to just sit down and know what Oracle magazine is talking about. If I come here today and they are discussing the future of business, I just want to find out. So I was attending seminars, being part of various little clusters of things just to give me a better opportunity than microbiology. And when school finished, I went ahead, not directly though. My girlfriend, in quote, then wanted to be a volunteer in church. So in trying to help her be able to fix herself into the volunteer system, I automatically followed her for the volunteers interview and I became a volunteer. And becoming a volunteer opened me up to new learning opportunities. I started seeing the part of managing houses where people tell you that they are into cleaning, industrial cleaning. I didn't know there was something called industrial cleaning until started working. I was mopping a 3,000 seat auditorium.
Wow.
That was the first job I was given as a volunteer staff. Then from there, I started managing power.
You said volunteer. Viewers, what volunteer practically means that all these things is not being paid.
Yeah.
Means you're not being paid.
Yeah.
And why? What really drives you to being a volunteer?
What made me become a volunteer first was that I always believed that sometimes you give energy to help with the little you know so that you can learn more. For example, imagine going to a printing press and letting them allow you to sweep the place, arrange paper, and along the line you begin to learn how to arrange paper for cutting, begin to learn how to arrange paper for the print. So those little opportunities, you will not get them if you really wanted to pay for them, because the people they want to do those things are supposed to be professionals. But when you don't have the skill, because you are around the environment, you tend to pick up some things for free just because you made yourself available.
The idea sometimes about volunteerism is you are even acquiring some skills.
Yes.
That's a good point. Still on how you became a consultant.
Okay. Becoming a consultant was a collection of multiple skills of learning. Because multiple skills of learning means that there were layers. There was a period when I was trying to pick up the skill. Like the first major skill that gave me money beyond being an artist was becoming a graphic designer. I was in media in church, so I now saw opportunities, started doing commercials, adverts for people. Then from there, I started doing stage designs for churches. From there, I moved into interior design. From there, I noticed that if I come into environments where businesses are operating, for example, a cyber cafe, I could walk into a cyber cafe and notice that they could get more people if they had a better flyer. But I want to browse and I don't have money to browse. So I'll beg them to give me a system, let me sit on that system and do a flyer.
For them for free.
And do a flyer. And while doing that flyer, they will allow me browse for free.
So you like a barter system?
Yes. Then I give them an improved flyer and they're like, wow, it's working. So me, I've satisfied the fact that, okay, this little idea I gave has helped improve the service in this place. Then I walk into a fast food and they're like, we don't have what it takes to compete with the bigger fast foods. Because I did that for a particular fast food in Oka, Pronesis Delhi. She couldn't meet up. So I now told her, okay, you are small, you are trying to meet up. Why don't you look for places where those guys are not in? She was like, where? I said, banks. Banks take lunch every day. So why don't talk to the banks that you will be the one bringing the lunch, how they want it. Before she knew what was happening, 7 banks had her as a lunch vendor. So while people are calculating plates sold in the main fast food, she was calculating plates sold at the bank.
And working with an institution.
So anytime they now had birthdays, she became the person they were giving the contract. They had burials, she became the person they were giving the contract. They had even their annual meetings, she became the person they were giving the contract. Wow. So it just opened her up to another sphere of earning. Wow. Then other fast foods didn't have a play area for children. She created one. So those little opportunities. And also, I gave a solution, it worked here. I gave a solution, it worked here. So at a point, I now decided, okay, let me organize little seminars. And teach these people these little things I've gathered with my random experience. Because most of these things, I didn't do them like one consultant that walked in with a file and a folder. But because they were working, it made it easier for me to be able to sell it to someone else.
So most of these skills were learned through adding value to other people.
Yes.
You were doing it for free.
Yes.
For the women.
I did many of them without looking at money.
But what was the motive? Why were you doing it?
My motive was that was because I could.
Because you could.
Yeah, because I like till tomorrow, my wife still has an issue with me with the fact that many people come to me and they're like, please, I need help with this, and I give it out without asking how far.
But
what more?
Look at your resume.
So
your resume speaks for himself. Because I've attended one of your talk shows.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was blown out of my mind. The session was so interesting. That's why I noticed about you. Because I know you casually.
Understand.
I was marveled. I was saying, this is the person I know, not this wife. And I said, this guy must be my friend. Whether he likes it or not, he must be my friend. What do you have to say to the so-called teeming youth out here, especially the graduates? Because I don't understand something. We pass out in a year. We now have badge A, badge B, badge C. Let's leave it at class C. Let's look at it from the angle of, in a state, 1,000 core member. But we all know that Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, but let's leave it at average. Then we are talking about 36,000. Now, 36,000 times 3. And out of these numbers, probably we are looking at 5. I don't know if it's up to 5 to 10% that probably is being engaged one way or the
2%.
other. 2%.
You can't say 10% because if you have 1,000, 10% is 100.
It's 100. So
you don't have up to 100 retained.
So are you saying 2 to let's say 5%?
Just about 30 people that get retained or less.
So what advice? What can you? Please, I want you to talk to this set of people.
The first thing is that we need to learn that the world today is not looking for, in quotes, qualified people. When I mean qualified in quotes is because that qualification is tied to certificates and paper. The world is looking for qualified people whose qualification is tied to learning.
That's problem solving.
Yeah, because in many institutions today or many offices today, they tell you, we're not employing you because of what you studied in school. We're employing you because of one thing, you went to a university. What does that underline? It tells you that because you went to a university, you have the ability to learn. Which means whatever skill they need you to upskill into, you can learn it because you have locked yourself into a habit of learning. So the university today is not to come out with a first class, a second class, or a third class, because we have a lot of people with master's degrees who still don't have jobs. We have people with PhDs who still don't have jobs. So it's not about the degree or the quality of the degree. It's about the worth you have collected into yourself while getting that degree. In Igbo language, the university is called Amahadum, which means Mahadum. In English, it means know it all. So you went to university to pick up universality of learning. You are in a hostel where people are learning different things so that in your exchange, you become a complete person. So even if you become a medical doctor, because your neighbor was a lawyer, you should have a stint of the legal system with you. Because your neighbor was an accountant, you should have a stint of accountability in you. So if you decide to own a private hospital, at that point you find out that the surgery you learned in school is not what will make that hospital survive. It's the balance. So going to school is one. What you learn is next. I have an issue with people that go to universities, go to school, and all that they have is, I went for departmental nights, I went for SUG nights, I went for RAG day. They are looking forward to the next RAG day. They are looking forward. Those activities are good. Why? Because you need to be complete. But add the extra.
What do you mean by that?
Add the extra. There are seminars that are happening around you. Attend. There are holiday programs. When school is not in session, what are you learning? Your neighbor has a tailoring shop. Don't look at the parent, I cannot be a tailor, I cannot be a tailor. You can be a tailor, but the most important thing is that because you went to school, you will be a fashion designer.
A tailor with a difference.
Why? Because you will bring in school and fine-tune what that person is doing on the streets. The person fries akara, that person that fries akara can pay your school fees.
Yes.
So what is the next level? You can go there and look at how the person fries the akara and now ask yourself, what if I have a fast food where they fry akara? There's a lady, her name is Wanyi Akamu. Wanyi Akamu sells akara and pap, moi and pap, but her game is Akamu. And her fast food is called a buka. Do you understand? So the concept is, what is your schooling refining in your environment? A friend of mine studied mechanical engineering in Nigeria, traveled to Japan, and the Japanese asked him, what did you study? He said, I studied mechanical engineering. He said, that is a faculty in Japan. That in mechanical engineering in Japan, they have furniture making, they have carpentry as the underlining engineering courses under mechanical. Then if you go to electrical, they have electrical is a faculty. But in Nigeria, engineering is a faculty, mechanical is a department. So you need to understand that the world is bigger than where you are. So don't think that because you've come out, you have arrived. You never arrive in learning. Learning follows you and helps refine you into adulthood. So the beauty of who you are as a young person is how much you are enthusiastic to learn, passionate about learning, and opening yourself to learning. The kind of platforms we have now that are giving people degrees, majority of them are positioned to help you learn first before they talk about your certificates, which means you can learn free. Then when you now have money, you pay for the certificates. not paying school fees to get the certificates. Why? Because they are emphasizing on the
What
learning.
platform is that?
There are a lot of them. We have edx.org. We have the MOOC program, MOOC. We have the Coursera. We have Allison. We have Udemy. Almost all these online universities are becoming bigger than our current physical institutions, but they are producing better professionals. Why? Because they are taking people in a corridor of continuous learning, which is even what the United Nations is driving for. Continuous learning. Keep learning. Keep learning. In Rwanda, we have streets with learning hubs, digital centers, innovation hubs. Why? Because they are looking at the concept of digital libraries, platforms where anybody, irrespective of your level of exposure, level of opportunity, can still learn and become relevant in the environment.
If I tell you a story, would you believe?
My name is Emeka once again, and I'm hanging out with Mr. Dandy.